Okay, so today we're going to start Birchas HaShachar. It's located on page Mem Beis. But before we go to that, let's go through the questions here on the sheets and discuss the relevant questions that we're going to discuss in today's shiur. It's on the first page of these questions, and just for the Kosher Tube audience, if anybody wants to get a hold of the question sheets that are sent out before the shiurim, the relevant shiurim, you could send me an email at dgopes@gmail.com. That's dgopes@gmail.com. And for any other questions or information or any answers, if you have, you're more than welcome to send it this way, and we can discuss it amongst the group here. The first question is like this: Introduction to Birchas HaShachar is we have 15 brachas over here, and we're going to have to discuss that there's an order to these brachas, right? Nothing is done haphazardly. Everything's done with the Seder, with something in mind. So what is the reason behind all these brachas? What's the reason, the order behind all these brachas? Why are they in the order that we have them? So that's the first thing. And the most interesting part of this question is that the order that is in the Gemara from Masechtas Brachos, where the Makar is, where the source is, we don't even have that order that the Gemara brings down. So the question is going to be, why do we have the order in which we have our brachas today? Getting a little bit more specific about the order is, in a more specific manner, the second question is, following the first bracha, we say 3 consecutive brachas that were added in the Gemara Menachos, Daf Mem Gimel and Beis, and then we return to the regular order. In fact, the old custom of the Sephardim, and I think Nusach Ari also has this, is to say the brachas, all the brachas that are in Mesechus brachas, the regular order, and then to add in these 3 other brachas. So the question is going to be, why do we interrupt the original order of brachas in Mesechus brachas, the original 12, and then right after our Nois and L'Sech Vina, we stick in 3 brachas, Shalos Hani Goy, Shalos Hani Aved, Shalos Hani Isha. What's the reason behind that? And then we go back to the regular order. We'll have to, that's just more of an overview. Getting more specific in the brachas, the bracha we're going to discuss tonight, if time allows, is the first bracha. Asher Nasam Sechvi Vina, who gave the Sechvi Vina. Now, obviously, we're going to have to understand, what does the word Sechvi mean? What is a Sechvi? And the second question is, why do we say this bracha in the past tense and not Hanosein Sechvi? That HaKadosh Baruch Hu is giving the Sechvi, whatever it is, He's giving the Sechvi. And the last question is Bina. What is Bina? Right? What do these words mean? Just Pashup Pshat, what are we saying? The end of the bracha is Lahavchin ben Yom ben Laila. Hashem gave the Sechvi Vina, whatever that means, and whatever the Sechvi is. He gave Bina Lahavchin, to distinguish between day and night, ben Yom ben Laila. Now it's very interesting that we use the word Lahavchin. There's another word to connote separation, which is Lahavdil. We make Havdalah every week. So why over here do we use the word Lahavchin and not the word Lahavdil? What's the difference? The question number 5 is, why do we only make a bracha in regards to the difference between the end of night and the beginning of the day? Why do we have a bracha that HaKadosh Baruch Hu somewhere, even in Marav, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave the knowledge to distinguish between the end of the day and the beginning of the night? Why do we just concentrate? Why do we I know it's in the morning, but why do we only have a bracha in regards to the end of the night and the beginning of the morning, and not a bracha at the end of the day and the beginning of the night? So that's what we're going to deal with tonight, the first bracha. And let's go now to the text. We're now on page Mem Beis in the Sefer Iyun Tefillah by Rabbi Shimon Schwab. For those of us just joining again, it's wonderful Sefer, and it will be available. It is available for a special price. Please speak to me if you want to purchase a copy of the Sefer. It's highly recommended, I think, anyway. Okay. So it's like this: the 15 Birchas HaShachar that we say every morning, Makar Mesechas Brachos Mesechas Menachos. The Makar, the source of these is Mesechas Brachos and the Gemara in Menachos. Now it says of the Gemara, Nisru Kfi Seder Kimas Ha'adam Lomer Kol Echad Ve'echad B'Shaita. So it says the reason that the Gemara in Brachos has this order is why? Is because they were set up that as a person wakes up in the morning, as he gets out of his bed and into daily life, before the coffee, he should say a bracha at each step of the way. And he's going to quote the Gemara in Brachos. Ki mitar, when the person wakes up, Omer, he says, Elokai neshamash nesati b'tahara. Right? Elokai, my God. You have to pause, as we pointed out in previous year. The neshama which you gave to me is tahara. Right? We say Maida'ani, but the Gemara says you should say Elokai neshama, and we explained that this bracha, this tefillah of Elokai neshama, is a very important tefillah because it affirms that we're saying that the neshama HaKadosh Baruch Hu that you gave me is tahira, is pure. It's not like the other goyim, the other nations say that the man is inherently evil, etc., etc. We're saying no. Every morning a yid wakes up, he affirms his belief that the neshama which HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave me tahira. We have a piece of tahara. We have the piece of chelik Elokai ma, a piece of HaKadosh Baruch Hu within us. It's tahira. The Gemara continues, Ki shama kol tarna goyla, when a person hears the voice of the sound of the rooster, lema, he should say, Baruch asher nasan lasech v'vina lahavchim minam ben laila. This first bracha, which we're going to deal with soon. Next, Ki pasach eini, when he opens his eyes, lema baruch bokeh achivrim, he should say a bracha that HaKadosh Baruch Hu gives sight to the blind. Ki taretz v'yasiv, when he gets up and he sits down, lema baruch matir asurim, he should say a bracha that HaKadosh Baruch Hu unties the bound. Ki lavish, when he gets dressed, lema, you should say a bracha, baruch malbish harumim, who clothes the naked. Ki zakif, when he stands up, lema baruch zokef kefufim, you should say a bracha that HaKadosh Baruch Hu straightens out the bent. Ki nachis la'ara, when he gets down on the ground, right, he's standing up and he's on the ground, you should say baruch rokah haaretz alamayim, who separates the ground from the waters. Ki maski, when he starts to take a couple of steps, lema, you should say baruch hamechim mitzad digaber, who prepares, who firms the steps of man. Ki saiman misane, when he puts on his shoes, lema baruch sha'asli kol tzarki, HaKadosh Baruch Hu prepared for me all of my needs. Ki asar hemyane, when he fastens his belt, lema, he should say baruch hazer yisrael b'gvura, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu girds Yisrael with strength. Ki paris sudra, when he puts on his sudra, like a turban or his cloth on his head, a yarmulke, whatever it is, al reisha on his head, lema, he should say baruch hazer yisrael b'sifaro, who crowns Klal Yisrael with splendor. Ki mashe ape, when he rubs his eyes, his mouth, his eyebrows. Lema baruch hamaber chevlei sheina me'enai. It's a little bit different. To removes the chevlei sheina, is the slumber from my eyes. So that's the Gemara in brachas. Now uva menachas, he said, the Gemara in menachas, this other Gemara we were talking about, he brings achiv lomar od gimel. We have to say 3 more brachas. A bracha of shelo asani goy, it did not make me a non-Jew. Shelo asani aved, that he did not make me a slave, and shelo asani isha, that he did not make me a woman. This bracha of Hanoisin Layav Kach gives strength to somebody who's tired. It doesn't say in the Gemara. So he's pointing out this problem that we said before, that our minhag is to not say it the way the Gemara in brachas has it, that as a person wakes up. Rather what do we do? We say the first bracha that he gave the sechvi, this understanding, this knowledge, this bina, whatever it means to distinguish between day and night. Then we go to those 3 brachas in the Gemara in Menachos of Shlos Hani Goy, Shlos Hani Aved, and Shlos Hani Isha. And then we go back to the order in Gemara brachas, of the order of a person getting up in the morning, etc. So v'yesh lahavin ta'am, hakdamas bracha shlos hani goy ve'eved, v'isha tikav achar asher nasan lasech v'ivina. Umafsikim b'etzah seder boker. Why are these 3 brachas specifically placed right there? Right after you say that HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the bracha that Hashem gave the sechvi, vina, to distinguish between day and night, right then we put in those 3 brachas. Why were they inserted there and in no other place? So it's twofold. It's number one, why were they inserted anywhere? And B, why specifically there? Meaning, why do we interrupt? Why don't we do, the Nusach Ari has them at the end. Why don't we say them at the end? Say the whole order in the Gemara brachas, and then say those 3 brachas at the end, or say them right at the beginning. And now that we do insert them, so why were they inserted there at that point? Right? Why were they inserted right after the first bracha? Uva Emes, points out, Haminik Hayashin Shal B'nei Svarad, this old Sephardi minhag, Hayalomar, Kamosh Seder Hagemar B'Seches Brachos, Ve'elu Gimal Brachos, She'en Al Seder Akima Omrul B'Seif. Aval Minhag Geinu, V'chet Minhag HaSfardim Achshav, Tzarech B'yer, he says the old Sephardish minhag was to say these brachos afterwards. It's talking to say all the brachos that are mentioned in Meseches Brachos, and the order of a person getting up in the morning, and then to say the other 3 brachos that are listed in Meseches Menachos. But we don't have that minhag, and he wants to know why. Do we have to explain that? So he says, okay, first, L'ba'er hadavar, to explain Na'ayin b'ferish bracha. Let's go look at the bracha asher nasan l'sechvi. So what is a sechvi? So he brings down Rashi and Tosfos and the Meseches Brachos who explain to Hainu Tarnagol, a sechvi is a tarnagol. And he brings down that the Gemara Rosh Hashanah says that there are some places where they refer to a tarnagol as a sechvi. That is the name of a tarnagol. We call it a rooster, they call it a sechvi. So that's what the bracha is saying. So now we got the first part, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave to the sechvi. What did he give? Bina. what is bina? Right? There are many, you say bina is knowledge, but there are different types of knowledge, right? We know there's chachma, there's bina, and there's das. There are different levels of understanding that a person has. So he explains, bina hi havana pnimius. It's an internal understanding. Milashon bein, a lashon of in between. Hamoira al davar shehu bifnim, meaning you understand something at the core. You go into to distinguish something, to understand something. You understand it at its core, and he's going to explain this a little further. So if you don't get it right now, don't give up. V'chein bina hi bifnim ha'adam. Bina comes from within a person. And now he's going to explain this as we go along. So he's going to explain like this: Shakadosh Baruch Hu nasan letarnagol chush ubina sheyachol lahavchin b'askalas hayom. So we're saying that HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave this rooster, this tarnagol, this sechvi, an intuition and a knowledge that it is able to discern between the end of the night and the beginning of the day. That is what we're saying. And he'll go on to explain this. Now, uminag ha'olam lomar hanosin l'sechvi vina. The minhag the custom is to say hanosin l'sechvi vina, who gives the rooster this knowledge. It's a lashon of hova. It's present tense. Aval, however, minhag Ashkenaz lomar b'lashon avar. We say it in the past tense. Asher nasam l'sechvi vina, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave the rooster this knowledge. Now, where does this all come from? This is umiyusid ala pasuk. This is based on the pasuk in Iyov, Perak Lamed Ches, pasuk Lamed Vav. It says like this: Mishas batuchos chachma, who placed knowledge, chachma, wisdom in the innards, or minasan lasechvi vina, or who gave the heart knowledge. So you see, it's a sechvi, minasan lasechvi vina. So based on that, he brings a Tosefta that says we shouldn't change the lashon of the pasuk. Since this bracha is based on the lashon of the pasuk in Iyov, which is, we'll see talking about the heart, but it's the same word sechvi, so we should keep the same tense as the pasuk. The pasuk in Iyov is in past tense, so we're going to keep the bracha in past tense. And he also says that's why, even though this bracha is in past tense, asher nasan l'sechvi, at the end we have a bracha hanosin layav koyach, who gives the tired person strength. And he says that's also based on a pasuk in Yeshaya, who brings it, that says nosin layoev koch, who gives strength to the weary, ulein onim otzma yarveh, and to the powerless he grants abundant might. So va'avsha brachas b'lashon hovehein, even though the brachas are all in present tense, that's how they're used. Malbish arum and pokeach ibrim, who gives sight to the blind, who dresses the unclothed, who straightens out the bent, right? So what does that mean? Why do we say it in present tense? Because we're saying Shakadosh Baruch Hu mashpia toivaso b'chol eis v'rega, that at all times Shakadosh Baruch Hu is giving over his mashpia, all his toivas, all of his goodness to us. We're saying on a constant basis Shakadosh Baruch Hu gives sight to the blind, who keeps the bent upright. Still, mikol makom lenogim lomar kilashon hakasav. So now we have asher nasan lasechvi b'lashon avar. So wait a second. So why doesn't it make more sense to say hanosin lasechvi vina, who's giving? He's constantly, every day, HaKadosh Baruch Hu gives the rooster this intuition, right? Why do we say it in the past tense? HaKadosh Baruch Hu is always constantly giving the rooster this intuition, right? It wasn't a one-time thing. Every day the rooster does this thing. So tzrichim lefarish, we have to say shemishabeach u'model HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that we are praising and giving thanks to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, shebishas b'rias ha'olam, at the time when the world is created, hitbia bina l'tarnagol lahavchim b'yom u'bein laila. That HaKadosh Baruch Hu, at this time of creation, he implanted within this rooster the knowledge to discern between day and night. Now, even though this is constantly happening, but the focal point, the starting point was Sheshis Ma'aseh, was during Ma'aseh Bereshis. So the pasuk will go like the lashon of the pasuk. The lashon of the pasuk is in the past tense, and it's not such a problem that it doesn't mean that HaKadosh Baruch Hu did it at one time. But we're saying, even though it's on a constant basis, the time when it started was during the 6 days of creation. Okay, so now he's going to explain the last part of the bracha, lahavchin, and this is, we're going to get into the difference between havchin and lahavdil. So he says like this: havchana. What does the word lahavchin mean? Havchana, he says, he hakara yoser daka mehavdala. It's a more minute, it's a smaller slimmer, slighter, I don't know how many more adjectives I can use, differentiation or recognition between two things than the word lahavdil. He says like this: Shahavdala hi hachiluk bein shnei dvarim she'enam domim. Havdala is the separation, is the difference between two things which are really not alike, which are not comparable to each other. Aval havchana hi havana v'hakara lechalek bein dvarim hanirim domim la'ain. He says havchana is to distinguish between two things which look extremely similar to the eye, but if you really take a look at it with your bina, with your intuition, with this level of knowledge, you're able to see the difference. And I'll give you an example. Every week we make, at the end of Shabbos, we make Havdalah, right? Havdalah. What do we say this at the end? What's the bracha? Baruch atah Hashem Elokeinu melech haolam hamavdil, who separates bein kodesh l'chol, between holy and profane, bein or l'choshech, between light and dark. We say bein Yisrael la'amim, between Klal Yisrael and the other non-Jewish nations. Bein Yom HaShvi, between Shabbos and Limei Sheshes and Me'amasa, to the 6 days of creation. Now, when we take a look at all of those things on the opposite sides of we see they're very different. We understand there's light and there's darkness. The two don't mix together, except for in Mitzrayim, when that was a special nes that HaKadosh Baruch Hu performed. But or is different than choshech. They don't mix. You can't have light and dark in the same room, right? So too Shabbos and the 6 days of creation. You have Shabbos and you have the 6 work days. Right? They're different. Shabbos is a holy day, and the 6 days a week work is permitted, etc., etc. But the point we have to bring out over here, which I want to bring out over here, is we also have to realize there's something else written there. Bein Yisrael la'amim. Right? That the Jews are different between the Goyim, between the rest of the nations of the world. We are different. And we have to realize we're so different that he says that two things which aren't comparable to each other, and they're not similar to each other. Even if we want to try and assimilate, they think it's the lashon of the Beis Halevi that he says that when the Jew tries to be mekadesh, when the Jew tries to make kiddush, and tries to take everything around him, the outside secular world, and tries to make it kadosh, the guy makes the havdalah. When the Jew makes kiddush, the guy makes the havdalah. HaKadosh Baruch Hu sends the Goyim to remind us, and we've seen this all in our past. You don't have to go so far back, but we've seen this, that the Goyim tell us, you're different. Hashem makes it known, right? We have to be hein am levadad yishkain. We're separate than the Goyim. And that's just like we understand there's a difference between Or and Choshech, and between Shabbos and the other 6 days, we have to realize that there's a difference between Yisrael and Amim and the rest of the nations. But that's by way of the difference between Havdalah and Havchana. Havchana is something which is much slighter, and he's going to explain this. Right? If you went outside, whatever time, I don't know what time it is nowadays, but if you went out and you took a look a minute before Alois and a minute after Alois, and you look around and somebody asks you, did Alois happen? I don't know. I have no idea. You look around, you can't tell, right? But v'nasan HaKadosh Baruch Hu bina latarnagol. HaKadosh Baruch Hu yet gave this rooster the understanding, the perception, the knowledge, lahavchin, ba'or hadak min hadak, to distinguish between this slight light, shebokei atel hachoshech, that bursts out from within the choshech. V'karei b'kol levaser al b'yaseh mechadash. And this rooster, there's something to think about. You have this little thing clucking along on the ground, and we have to realize that within this one creature is hidden such a tremendous power, such a tremendous knowledge that even human beings don't have. Right? HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave this sechli, this tarnagol, the ability to be able to distinguish between that light. We can't see it with our own eyes, but this rooster can see the little small amount of light that breaks out and from the darkness, and he realizes Alois HaShachar, the day is coming. Boom! Right away he lets us know. The alarm bell goes off. Ulefizeh, it comes out according to this explanation. Im lo shama kol tarnagol ein lo levarach. If you wouldn't hear the actual tarnagol, you should make a bracha. Why? Because you don't know if it's morning or not. Ella, however, shekasu haposkim shetiknu habracha mishum minhag v'seder ha'olam. V'imkein in levarachat sheyeda beverer shekvar higiz man kriyas hagever. That the poskim write that a person makes the bracha not and if he hears, he doesn't hear. Because let's say a person doesn't have shoes, right? Should he make a bracha sha'asa li kol tzarki? That Hashem made all of my needs, or he doesn't put on a belt. He should say ozi. He shouldn't say ozi yisrael b'gvura. That Hashem girds us with strength. So the poskim say that really these brachas are being made on the way of the world. This is what happens. I don't. Persons are Rahman al blind. He still will make the bracha pokeach ivrim, even though he's never seen before in his life. Why? Because these brachas, the Chazal, the poskim say, are set up to thank HaKadosh Baruch Hu on the way the world works at large. So that's the first explanation of this bracha, of the word sechvi. That sechvi refers to a tarnagal. But if you remember, we brought in a pasuk from Iyun. And now he's going to explain. Harash v'talmidei Rabbeinu Yonah pirshu shesechvi hu halev. That this word sechvi is actually referring to the heart of a person. And Musaf Rosh Hashanah there's a piyut that the word sechvi is used to and connotes the heart. Visharasha miloshen sachoy, where he says the sharish of the word sechvi is sachoy with a samach, really not with a sin, which means sipia v'abat. It's a longing, it's a waiting with feeling. It's a type of an internal feeling of waiting. And he's saying this. Sha'adam ra bevinas libo. That, by the way, came from the Metzudas Sion on that pasuk in Iyun. So that wasn't his own explanation. Sha'adam ra bevinas libo. That a person sees with his heart. U'k'moshe kasav v'libi ra harbe chachma v'das. That Shlomo HaMelech says in Koheles, my heart saw many types of knowledge and understanding. V'hainu re'iyah sichlis. Right? You don't really see with your heart. You see with your eyes. But there's a certain type of looking, right? You go into any situation, when you come into a room full of people, or you come any situation you're in, right? What do? You size up the situation, right? You see you take a look visually, but internally, in your heart, in your mind, with your seichel, you're understanding, you're sizing up the situation. He says that the Gemara in Bracha says, Halev Maven, the heart understands, V'halev Mavchim B'nei Uvein Leila. So the pshat in the Bracha is going to be that Hashem gave in our hearts an intuition to distinguish between day and night. We know, we go to sleep, we wake in at night, we know, we wake up, it's bright outside, we know it's morning. But now, it might seem like these two can't coexist, these two pshatim. However, he says, Be'emes Beza Perushim Krovim Zelazei, so they're very close together. Sha'afim Nefarish Dekaya Tarnagal. Let's say the word sechvi goes on the tarnagal. So he says, Hare Hashevach V'Aidah Sha'anu Nosnim Hu Kisha Tarnagal Mavkin Baschalas Hayom Az Nosina Adam Elivo Shekvar Ba Hayom V'Yelech Adam Lefalai. He says that, what are we giving a bracha? That HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave the rooster this knowledge to distinguish between day and night. The rooster does its thing and lets out a crow, whatever you call it, it tries, and everybody wakes up, and now my heart understands. Oh, I heard the rooster. It must mean that it's daytime, right? It's not before morning. It's morning time because the rooster went off. So the two can coexist. That Hashem gave the knowledge to the tarnagal. The tarnagal does its thing. I wake up and I understand in my heart. Oh, it must be morning. He says in Chazal, this is their alarm clock, right? And brings to mind always the famous saying that the pasuk says Hakol Kol Yaakov Adai Midei Esav, the voice of the voices. Yeah, when Yaakov came to get the brachas from his father Yitzchak proclaimed, he said, the voice of Yaakov, but the hands are the hands of Esav. So I always heard that Hakol Kol Yaakov is the voice of Yaakov is the alarm clock that wakes you up for Shachris in the morning. Adai Midei Esav is the hand that slaps the snooze button. So just a little about the alarm clocks over here. But we see that this is the alarm clock for Chazal. They don't have such alarm clocks. They use the rooster. But here's a question. Right? This is the last question we're going to deal with is why don't we have a bracha? This is the next paragraph on page Mem Gimel. Why don't we have a bracha at the end of the day to signify the difference between the end of the day and the beginning of the night? We only have a bracha from the end of the night to the beginning of the morning. So he says like this. He starts off by saying that even though you're right, the two times are similar, meaning when it starts to get later in the morning, the choshech, the darkness goes away. And the same thing at night. When it starts to get darker, the light goes away and it gets darker and darker. He says there's still a difference. Why is that? Shebeshachris, when in the morning, Yadua haschalas hayom ba'alois hashachar. There is a time called alois hashachar, when the night ends and the morning is starting. So v'yachal loymar habracha bisman. You are able to say the bracha bisman, meaning right after alois, you can say, anoisin l'sech livina. However, at the end of the day, there's something called bein hashmashos. Ben Hashmashis is this in between, this quasi time where we're not in ha'adam yodei kvar nasa laila imlav. It's a suffix yom and suffix laila. It's a doubt whether it is nighttime or it's daytime. It's this mish time. Va'al kain kaimlan we pass in the Shulchan Aruch, and that's why on Motzei Shabbos we wait extra time. Motzei Shabbos tzrichim linom melacha ad sheyetze asafik milibo. Right, a person has to wait till Tzeis HaKochavim, till he knows it's Tzeis HaKochavim, till he knows that it's for sure the time to finish Shabbos. However, normally, because it might be Bein HaShmashos, it might still be Shabbos, and if you're going to do Malacha too early, you're going to come to be Machal Shabbos, and it would be a crying shame to do that at any time over Shabbos, but especially if you've gone through the whole Shabbos and you're right at the end. So therefore, like that, Pashup Shat, that's why he says we don't make a bracha. Pashup Shat, that's why there's no bracha at the end of the day, because we don't know when to make the bracha. There's a suffix time. However, Aval B's Bonanu, but if you look a little deeper, near Shlo, HaKadosh Baruch Hu B'Seder HaBriya, Sheyikra Tarnagol B'Bias HaShemesh. Not only did HaKadosh Baruch Hu not only do we not have a bracha, but HaKadosh Baruch Hu didn't put in the nature of the Tarnagol, the rooster, to crow when it gets dark, sunset. What is the rooster? You punch in, you punch out. You give a cry out in the morning, give a cry out in the evening. If we're going to look into it, we'll go deeper, we'll realize the depths of the meaning behind this bracha. Even though the darkness of Alos HaShachar is very similar to the darkness of Tzeis HaKochavim when it's really dark at night, however, we all know for ourselves, we know the tremendous difference between the start of a day and the end of a day. Why? When nighttime comes, sort of a negative feeling overtakes a person when it comes night. Night's always the evil time, right? Day is always light, it's bright. And night's always like that evil time, right? You start to have these negative feelings. Why? Because biyedu shekvar pana hayom. You know the day's over. You can't finish your work. That's it. Day's over. Got to pack out. People take their work with them. But the day's over. That's it. Whatever you were able to accomplish in the day, that's it. You can't accomplish any more. The day's done. But when the morning is starting, even though it's dark outside, it's Alos HaShachar. Person thinks, you know it's coming. I woke up. It's very dark in the morning, but I know it's coming. A new day is coming. A new opportunity is coming. A new day is coming. It's on its way. I'm going to be able to accomplish more. I'm going to be able to do today. It's not that the day is coming over. He says, HaKadosh Baruch Hu chush l'tarnagol. HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave this intuition to the rooster, lahachris, to announce lodia ha'aretz hayom, v'ya'aretz ha'adam b'argeshim chiyum l'kavas ha'ar, right? Shem put into this rooster the knowledge and intuition that he should go and crow, and right away that should instill in a person, it's a new day, a day is coming, it's time to accomplish, it's time to do, I have to go work, I have to accomplish, there's more time now, I'm fresher, I'm able to go do work, I'm able to go learn, I have to go daven to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Every day is another opportunity, and those feelings of, the day is coming, it brings simcha to a person, it enlightens a person. So therefore, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, anu mavarchim, that's why we make a bracha, asher nosan lasechvi, bina lahavchim midom avein laila. That Hashem gave this tarnagol the knowledge, lios kol mevasher al yom chodesh, to proclaim, to let us know, to announce to us that a new day is coming. And he says, v'asechvi, it's also the lave, that mevin godol hatov sheyesh bazeh. Aval ein makom l'shabech v'ayda l'choshech hamishtar ba'olam b'layla v'chein gam hatarnagol yashmiya kol b'vo alayla. Right? He's saying like this. When the night comes, everybody, that's it. You start to shut down. Right? You need a recharge mode, right? Night is coming, you start to feel it, in the winter when it's dark, most of the year, 4 in the afternoon, right? You feel like you're just wiped. That's it. Day's over. Even though you got a couple hours still till you leave work. But you just feel it. It creeps up on you. You feel like you're going downhill. In the morning when you wake up, it might still be dark outside. Right? Here in the winter, it doesn't get dark till what? 7:50 could be is Nate's, right? It's still dark outside for most of the morning. It's hard to get out of bed. But you realize another day is coming. What's another day? Another day is another opportunity for growth, another opportunity to perform, to go, elevate yourself spiritually, to go ahead further in your work, to make progression in your work. It's a good feeling. enhances a person. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu, this is unbelievable, gave this knowledge to the rooster, that the rooster should proclaim, day is coming, wake up. Get up. You know, you have an opportunity now. Opportunity is knocking. Opportunity is waking up. Opportunity is calling. Get up. Realize it's another day, another opportunity to shine, another opportunity to elevate yourself, to go, and to spiritually grow, to physically, you know, in your work and everything else, to grow. Wake up. It's a time to go. And your heart understands it. And your heart, okay, you might need a couple cups of coffee, but your heart, you know, gets you going. You realize, yeah, it's another day, it's another opportunity. I have more time. So now, ready to go. At night, you're already on shutdown mode. So Kadosh Baruch Hu did not give the Tarnagol this knowledge, because why announce this to the world? Like, okay, everybody, time to shut down now. Day's over. You know, less time to do everything. Time to go to sleep. Time to regenerate till the next morning. Hashem didn't put that knowledge to the rooster, and therefore we also don't say a bracha. We don't, even though it is. You're right. There is a havchana between that time. You know, it might be a little bit, because of Bein HaShmashos, we might not know the exact time. But the depth of it is that HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave this rooster the knowledge in order that the rooster should proclaim to us, get up and go, there's a new day waiting for you. Okay, I think we'll stop here, because we only have a couple minutes. And again, just for the Kosher Tube viewing audience, I'd like to welcome you to the shiur, and you're more than welcome to join us every Thursday night at 9 o'clock. For more information, I would please, questions, comments, you know, I always say this shiur is not supposed to be me talking for so long, and a lot of people are shy here because of the camera. But, you know, there's no point in being shy, and please, all your questions and comments are always welcomed, and they enhance the shiur more than me just talking all this. So, you know, if you want to look over the questions,